Okay, welcome back to Black Clover Anime Review, episode number 66. This one reviewing the one alternate enemy and the 235th chapter of the manga, Disciples. This episode finishes up chapter 198 and it starts from 199 and finishes up with chapter 201. Okay, and I did check. From what I could tell, they didn't skip anything. They made some dialogue changes from the manga, which is fine. Mostly visual-wise, it looks pretty much the same. From what I can tell, anyways. I think they made some couple minor cuts here and there, but didn't really affect the episode at all. Nope. And here's kind of the thing. After this episode, there's only about 13 chapters left for this arc to be adapted. Yes, 13. I'm like, wow. This episode also finishes up one fight and starts up another. Yes, the fight where now the episode begins pretty much exactly where last week's episode left off. We have Patri, who's actually been possessed, turned into a dark elf. Yeah, that's if heard of him in the manga. Yeah, he was possessed and turned into a dark elf, and well, he tries to take on Asta, until Nozel shows up. Yep. In case you wonder, like in the manga, does he show completely out of nowhere? Oh yes. As for where he came from, it's not thoroughly explained. It's like you get a brief hint of this, like briefly, where you see both Nozel and Yami just glaring at something, and then Yami goes off someplace, and Nozel ends up here. And they take on Patri. They trap him, and Asa's like, okay. He's gonna kill Patri, probably because he killed the magic, because he knows he killed a lot of people. He doesn't mention the Wizard King. Asa finds out himself. So Asa uses his special sword that I've seen him use, walks up to him, and even though he's already possessed, he's basically exorcising the demon from him. Not the elf, the demon. And he goes sort of inside his mind, where he basically goes through his memories. Like you see, now they do cut one small little thing here, when you see like these bunch of images. Basically, it's kind of similar to what they did with TMNT Forever. It's a very similar type of thing, where it's like multiple like TV screens in a way. He's just basically flying through it. There's one thing that they did cut, and it was the humans basically in shadow and silhouette. Yeah, they actually cut that little image, but otherwise they pretty much kept everything here, like the wedding, which had the massacre happen, and eventually we see Patri just sulking. We see Vaughn just tied up some vines, which was like, okay, that's interesting. And while this is going on, Lyra basically is seeing all this. He looked like he's about to die, and then he starts glowing. Mimosa decided to walk over to him. Yeah, Mimosa's only seen maybe 2 or 3 times this whole episode. She says maybe like 2 or 3 lines, and it's kind of like a Splitzer thing where she kind of looks like the princess from that's shown in the flashback. As far as I know, none of the characters ever point out though that Mimosa looks exactly like the princess from the past, where she's like the spitting image of her, except their hair color is different. I think her eyes are pretty much the same. They're about the same height and same weight. I think the only difference between the two is that the princess in the past was a blonde, Mimosa's a redhead. That's, I think, the only difference between the two is the hair color, mostly, but yeah, they're pretty much the same. I think the only other slight differences that I can think of is I think she might be a bit shorter than that one is. As far as I know, I don't think that, from what I'm reading from later on in the manga, in this particular arc, Mimosa is never called about this. She's never brought this up at all. The fact that she looks exactly like a princess from years past. Lyra probably thinks about this, but nobody points this out, though. It's one of the most strangest things about the series. You have a great character like Mimosa, and there's another character that looks exactly like her. It could be that she could be her descendant. It's possible. It's never really explored. I would like to see this explored in the future, probably in the future chapter for the series. Yep. And Lyra is just seen for this one brief scene, and it's also the last time we see Mimosa in the episode. Though she's returned a little bit later on. Just returned after this. And all and we have and back to Patry just sulking, and then here comes Asta. Yep, Asta's inside his mind. He tells him he kind of basically he almost coerces him. Looks like he just basically just yells at him, and he says he will not forgive him for killing the Wizard King, which he brings up how much he was respected, which that is indeed true, and the fact that he won't forgive him also for taking the whole country hostage just to kill the man. hmm Because we need your help to take out that devil. Yep. And they get out, no problem. Nozel like wondering what the heck happened inside there, and so Patry decides to just simply just join forces with Asta, Nozel, and Mimosa. And then we cut to the devil. Yeah, they call him the devil. They never officially. I don't remember. I think they give the guy a name later, but in the show, it's in the manga itself. He's referred to simply as the devil. He comes with this hole in the floor because he has wings, and he sees a door for his ex, and then he sees Licked, the actual one, tries to take him on, and then he's like blocked, and then he's basically launched a big, humongous gauntlet spear at him. And then he's blocked by a bunch of vines. Why, it's basically the Elpazette. Charlotte shows up without her helmet. Yes. Yeah, when she became possessed, she apparently decided to lose her helmet, but the only thing she did, Yami, when she bought Yami, she lost her gauntlet. Here, there's like barely any change to her. Look like I think the only change they make to her is that since then she has since lost her awesome blue cape that the Blue Rose Knights have. Yes, what happened to that thing? I don't really know. And then Yami shows up, and I love the fact they actually kept this in the manga. The first thing you see from Yami is his boot. Yes, the first thing you see is from looks like his right boot. Yes, his right foot. And you see Yami, and then very much like they spend the time just bantering each other while trying to take on the devil, and Yami mentioning to the opposite Charlotte, says, "Take care of that body. Please not harm it at all." And my guess is she probably agrees with that. Probably because now he kind of already knows, because it's revealed in the next arc, that he knows that Charlotte has feelings for him, but he's never recuperated them at all. I mean, if I were him and you see a beautiful blonde woman who's in love with you, you'd probably say, "Oh yeah, I want this woman." Plus, of course, he has a smoking hot witch who's one of his subordinates, and she's in love with him too. Yep. Yeah. And that's where the end of the episode, the first chapter of the final battle of this arc, which takes up 11 chapters. I think is like the longest battle of the entire arc. Yeah, where you have like a lot of the characters who've been appearing in this portion of the arc just taking on the devil. Yep. So, fantastic episode. Can't wait for next week's episode. Now on to the newest chapter in the manga, which is Dark Disciple. Episode Yuna running out of the orphanage back to going to the headquarters because it's being attacked. This guy, I think he's supposed to be a servant, just basically like, don't find him carelessly. And then we cut to the Golden Dawn headquarters, where apparently it has a slight change to it. Yeah, now previously it looked like a big gigantic mansion. Apparently, since the time skip happened, and this is like the outside of it, it looks like they've added some pillars to it, and it looks like a bit bigger than it was previously. So they notice that these people are from the Spade Kingdom. So they all pretty much launched their melee attacks at them, and they do and does nothing to them at all. It's not like the leaders. No, the one of them did show up in the last chapter, but they disappeared. What happened to them, the chapter itself doesn't really explain it. Like, not a scratch. So, Dark Disciples says, this is Dark Disciples, we're at stage 0. So, basically, these guys just mow right through the Golden Dawn Knights, the Golden Dawn group, just without mercy. The leader seen briefly, he doesn't really do anything. We see Fonchins without his helmet. I'm like, didn't they mention at the end of the current arc that he was gonna get punished? I would think though he might lose his job, but no. he probably was. They're probably planning him receiving punishment for assisting the elves and to take over the kingdom, well, at least in the chaos of the kingdom. But no, he's still in charge. I, and this is something though. They also changed his attire. Yeah, his attire looks completely different. I mean, yes, he no longer wears his goofy mask he's now wearing, but it's a slightly different cape that he's wearing previously. Yeah, it's like they gave the Golden Dawn group like a bunch of new uniforms. So we have Salander, who is one of the Golden Dawn members, basically, who's got a lot of respect for him, and he basically launches his knife form at the leader of the Dark Triad, and then he gets him frickin' impaled. Yes, right through the frickin' gut, and then I think he dies. Right there. And this is the same guy who took on Yuno during the Royal Knights exam. And he gets killed almost pretty easily by the lead of Dark Triad. And then Von Chen's basically he says, no matter who you are, no one hurts my brigade members and gets away with it. So he uses Water Tree Magic, and then this guy is basically says, Eternal Fangs. And then we see Yuno finally arriving at going to headquarters. And pretty much like mostly everybody's defeated. They don't show like what happened with Vonchance. Yep, and the chapter ends with him getting mad and go to his spirit dive mode. Just like that. He doesn't say it, he just automatically goes to it. It's like, what do you think you're doing to my comrades? Yeah, awesome way in the chapter, but I have to wait the January 19th. We have to wait almost 12 days for the next chapter. Why the heck this is I don't really know. It's particularly very weird. I would like to see an article, basically explanation of why. Is it Golden Week next week? I don't really know. It's particularly very bizarre. Yep. But this overall is a really good chapter. I give this chapter roughly a 9 out of 10. It's really good. And, well, it's good that we're at 235 right now. I'm loving this post time skip stuff. It's really good. And this post time skip arc has only been going on for about, I think it's been about, for 7 chapters. Yep, 7 chapters. This arc only started with chapter 229. And this is only the 7th chapter of this arc. I gotta say, we're turning out to be really good. And I love the fact we got a chance to see Vonches in this chapter, which is quite nice. Though I have to ask the question of, okay, what's going on with the rest of the Black Knights, the Black Bulls? What's going on with the rest of the members, what they're up to? I would also like to figure out what is Charlotte up to in the series. Yeah, I haven't seen her in the post-time skip stuff. No, she hasn't shown up at all. Asta has not shown up in the past couple chapters, which he might show up next chapter, but who knows? But I love the fact Yuno's finally appeared. Yep, but yeah, this arc, really good so far. Can't wait for the very next chapter. I'm loving Black Clover. Like, right now anyways. Like, I love the anime. I know some people don't like what Studio Pierrot has done with the series. Now, I think they're doing fine when it comes to adaptation-wise. I mean, nothing feels, to me anyways, like a disappointment, because I trust Studio Pierrot with it, because they did fantastic with Naruto, and I think they did an okay job with Tokyo Ghoul, though I think that the problem with Free was the fact they were rushing the series. Yes. The problem with that was the pacing. Black Clover's got really good pacing with it. And I don't like it that one particular person, I'm not going to name names, he thought the series was like utter trash. I mean, that's nonsense. Black Clover is not trash at all. And I don't like it particularly when people insult series that I like and call them garbage. I don't care for it. I don't tolerate it at all. I think it's utter nonsense. I know it's their opinion, fine, but I really disagree with him on it, and unlike some stupid people on the internet, I will not attack them over this stupid nonsense. Yes, this whole pettiness on the internet really is stupid. I have everything lately about it, but last year was like so heavy with it, where people were attacking each other on the internet over liking something that they don't like. Yes. And I think the cyberbullying should stop. because it is so outdated, and the bullies should basically grow up and deal with it. There's a thing called the freedom of speech. We can have our own opinions about it. Fine. Don't need to attack people over it. Okay? So, that's all I gotta say when it comes to that, okay? So yeah, that's it for this particular review. This is the only review I have that I'm going to able to do today because of time. I think I'll save my Rama. I was still planning the Rama half for you today, but I think I'll save it for tomorrow, along with Seven Deadly Sins and possibly the review of the current arc for Demon Slayer if I get a chance to. Otherwise, though, don't worry about it. I'll probably either Demon Slayer either tomorrow or probably Thursday at the latest, maybe Friday. Okay. But see you in the next video. Bye.